Let's talk about movies, shall we? CTV film critic Richard Crouse joins us for a look at what's new in theaters. And because the stock market isn't enough of a thrill ride, Richard, we have a couple of thrillers and a more realistic film, all of which will have people on the edge of their seats, right?
I hope so.
I hope so. The first one's called Drop. Let's take a look.
Violet, everything okay?
Okay, Richard, this one's a little unusual, right?
It is, in that it's what I call a closed room drama, because it takes place really essentially in one room. They open it up a little bit, but it's the story of a widow and a single mom played by Megan Fahey. We know her from the second season of White Lotus. She has not been on a date forever, and she finally agrees to go out on a date with a guy. And as soon as she sits down, someone starts airdropping messages onto her phone, and terrible things. And they're threatening the lives of her son, of her sister, if she doesn't do some pretty despicable things without letting anyone else in the restaurant know. And eventually we find out why, and we find out how it all resolves. But this is a movie where you really have to check your sense of disbelief at the concession stand before you go into the theater. The movie, I mean, it makes sense as far as movies go, but that's not really the point here. The point is it's a what would you do in this situation kind of thriller. If you go in and buy into the premise, I think you'll have a good time. I sure did. I kept moving towards the edge of my seat. So Drop is like a 4 out of 5 star movie for me, and it's in theaters this weekend.
Okay, she was great on White Lotus in the second season.
Yeah.
Our second offering stars Oscar winner Rami Malek. He's out for revenge in The Amateur.
Yeah.
You ever wonder what they do with all the stuff you dig up for them?
That's not my job.
No, but you never wonder?
No, it's the CIA. I gotta trust that they'll make the right call.
The question here is Rami Malek's character tough enough to carry out what he wants to do?
Well, that's the idea here. So he plays a cryptologist for the CIA whose wife is tragically murdered by terrorists in London. And so he decides that he wants to get revenge. He wants to be trained as an agent. And I won't really tell you anything more, except that this is very definitely a revenge film. But every time it starts to work up a head of steam, and it's got a good cast. It's got Rami Malek in it, an Oscar winner. Lawrence Fishburne's in here. Rachel Brosnahan is in here. Oscar winners, Tony winners, Emmy winners. I mean, this is a highly decorated crew. But every time the movie starts to work up a head of steam, it dissipates. And then it tries to work up a head of steam again, and it dissipates some more. So I did not love The Amateur. This, to me, is a 2 out of 5 star movie because it disappointed me so often. It just didn't take me where I needed to go.
Oh, that's too bad. I know you gave the first one, Drop, a 4 out of 5, but you were saying off camera, this next one is your pick of the week. It's called Warfare. We need a little time to talk about this, but let's take a look.
It's Romeo. We need evac at our last known position.
We have severely wounded. Who's the severely wounded?
Martin.
Is it me? Who is that?
No, it's not.
So this film is based on memories, is what I read.
Yeah.
Can you explain a bit of that?
Yeah, so it's co-directed by Alex Garland, who is the writer of 28 Days Later and lots of other things, and the director of Civil War last year and lots of other things. Brilliant filmmaker, but he co-directed with a guy called Ray Mendoza. And Ray Mendoza is a former Navy SEAL who served in Iraq in the early 2000s. And this story is based on the Navy SEALs trying to combat insurgents in 2006. And it plays out in real time. You are with these soldiers as they go through this entire thing, not knowing what is coming, who is coming, what form the attack will take. And it is and it's all based on the memories of Ray Mendoza and his crew. And so one of the rules they had when they were making this movie is the actors, and even Alex Garland as the most experienced filmmaker on the set, they weren't really allowed to have ideas. The only ideas came from the people who were actually there and who participated in the event that they're recreating here in the film. And what that means is that you get this incredibly authentic look at what it's like to be involved in modern warfare. It is grim, it is gritty, it is visceral, it is a game of life and death that is immersive. And once you have seen this movie, I was jarred for a week after watching this. I couldn't get it out of my head. It's a movie that will make you think, and it really is just tremendously well done. It rivals the first 20 minutes of Saving Private Ryan. It rivals Black Hawk Down. This is a movie that really puts you in the action. And it's not a movie that you're going to quote unquote enjoy so much as it is a movie that you're going to experience, and it's worth the experience.
Just strong filmmaking. Okay, Warfare, that's called. I want to take a moment now and talk about something a little different that is away from films, but it's your work that you do, your podcast, a show for iHeartRadio, which folks in the Maritimes can get through the app. You recently had a conversation with Sean Lennon, the musician and the son of the late Beatle. What did you make of him?
I really liked him. So there's a film that I'll tell you about in a couple of weeks called 1-to-1 John and Yoko, which is a look at John Lennon and Yoko Ono in the very early 70s and their activism when they were first in the United States. And as part of that film is a concert that's never really been seen properly before. It was John Lennon's only full-length concert after he split with the Beatles. He performed here and there, but this was a full-length show with he and Yoko. And so Sean Ono Lennon remastered it. He's in charge of the Lennon musical legacy now. And so we got to talk about that. But then we talked about his parents in a very real and very down-to-earth way. And so some of the interview is very funny. Some of it is kind of heartbreaking. Some of it's kind of inspiring. He talks about Yoko Ono and the huge amounts of, heaping amounts of bad press that she got, but how she managed somehow to take that and turn it into positive energy for her. It's fascinating stuff. And it will be available as a podcast on Sunday. Okay,
and through iHeartRadio, right? Folks can find that. Okay. Good talking to you. We'll see you in a couple of weeks, Richard. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Todd.
We'll take a break. Lots of your show still ahead.